My faith is relentless. Yeah. Come on. If you with me, then pick them up and put them down. Boots to the pavement, kingdom invasion, proclaiming his name and reclaiming his people. We are the church, no building, no steeple, making our Lord popular, evangelizing the youth and raising up the generation of Joshua to rise up, wise up and open their eyes up and live unashamed for the Christ living inside us. Relentless. Yeah.
Welcome to Relentless Faith, Relentless Faith, Relentless Faith. I'm your host, Sean Hamilton, a.k.a. Pastor Sean. What's going on with you this evening? Tonight is going to be a phenomenal show. We got Al Harris. He's a great rapper, man of God, been through a lot of things, prison life. God delivered him from drugs and alcohol. He's got this first song that he's going to be singing, and it's Al Harris and God's True Disciples. And this song is called Humiliated.
The first song was called Humiliated. Humiliated, based on a true story. The first verse basically spoke about when I was 22 years old, getting high. And when I say, I mean really getting high, I was close to suicide. I would smoke crack. It started off with cocaine, sniffing a little cocaine here and there, then I started smoking crack. At 22 years old, I might have been 97 pounds soaking wet. There was times I didn't sleep. I would be up for 2 or 3 days walking the streets. Homeless. Had a home to go to, but I guess they were just so cautious of me being there because of my addiction. I would take things and, go out and rob people, bring heat to the house, So yeah, anytime I rap, any of my songs, any of the songs that God inspires me to write is based on true events. I don't set it up like that, it just comes out like that. I just write off experience. Humiliated. I was looked upon, people would ride by, look at me, and they would snicker behind my back and laugh at me, But what I was facing was real. It was real. I had something, I was consumed by it. And I couldn't shake it. I couldn't shake it, man. I would even tell myself, today I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna get high. But the addiction was so strong, man, that, as soon as somebody come around with it, or I get that urge, and I want it, and I'll go get it. I didn't care what I had to do. I would go get it, and I would get high. My Savior died so I could live, but I would choose to die. That foolish pride had me in the mirror asking, who am I? I would literally be in the mirror like, God, what am I doing? He died for me, but I would choose to be out here killing myself. I would choose to die, out here humiliating myself. The second verse, I was sentenced to 15 years in the Department of Corrections. My first 2 years, I did it a level 3 maximum security at McCormick. Back against the wall, I would see guys get stabbed up. I would see guys slipping on their own blood. I would see guys get robbed. I would see things happen. And I couldn't make sense of it all. I knew is that I had this 15-year bid, fresh 15-year bid, and all I seen around me was people wilding. These young boys wilding out. So that's what I did. I followed suit. And after a while, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing.
Until you conquer the enemy in yourself, you can't deal with anyone. In order to be used by God, you have to really be used. We always want to be used for the glorious jobs. Look, God put me on the stage in front of the people at the Grammy show with a nice dress on. Let me just praise your name. But that's not being used. Sometimes in order to be used, you also have to be humiliated.
Yeah. At 22, I started getting high. No, I mean really getting high. I was close to suicide. My Savior died so I could live, but I would choose to die. That foolish pride had me in the mirror asking, who am I? I could hardly recognize myself. I started losing weight. Would plot to rob close friends if they were moving weight. Been up for days, dozing off to have a rude awakening. Pockets empty, money on my mind, I'm in a mood to take it. Extreme hunger pains, but dope could only soothe the aching. I wanted to feel love, but first I had to lose the hatred. Sometimes my mom would run away and she could be gone for days. Look me in my eyes and say, said she tired of giving her soul away. And just for the dope, she sold her body in the coldest places. And there were many times she walked away with no payment. But that was years ago, and by the grace of God, we made it. To be used first, you have to be humiliated.
When I think about the things that I went through, Lord, you know I'm grateful, cause I'm sold out to you.
Sold out, Lord.
God, you brought a change.
Yes, you did, Lord.
When I called your name,
Said you did,
my
Lord.
life just ain't the same. And I'm grateful that I know you, humiliated for you.
Yeah, locked in that cage, I learned to stick and move. My brothers keep the same yard, but we had different views. Salute to those who I would call and they would click me through. It's hard to ride a bed, sometimes it's like you in the system too. A message came across my phone like, did you get the news? And almost instantly, that put me in a different mood. They say Ali was driving drunk last night and killed the dude. Plus he been wildin' lately, and you the only one he'll listen to. I know he's sick inside that cell, it's almost Christmas too. And then the judge denied his bail, too much of a risk to lose. Only a few can walk with God and never switch their shoes. I've asked a lot of questions in the past, I've got it misconstrued. Wish I could pick and choose the trials that's here to strengthen you. We see it as catastrophic, but to God it's only minuscule. He may have years to go, but by the grace of God he'll make it. To be used first, he has to be humiliated.
When I think about the things that I went through, Lord, you know I'm grateful, cause I'm sold out to you.
Sold out, Lord.
God, you brought a change.
Going through it though.
When I called your name,
But I trust you, Lord.
my life just ain't the same.
I'm sold out, Lord.
And I'm grateful that I know you, humiliated for you.
So many times my back against the wall, Lord, I continue to trust in you. So many times I made a fool of, Lord, but I continue to trust in you.
My faith is relentless. Yeah.
All right, welcome back to Relentless Faith. Al's going to go into this part of his testimony. I'm just going to let him tell you about it. He talks about how the worst thing that could ever happen to anybody happened to him while he was in prison.
2006, I was in the county. I was in Greenville County Detention Center on the top bunk. And the news came on. And I glanced at the television. Usually I don't even watch the news, you know. So I glanced at it and I seen a familiar face, you know. But I didn't want to believe it. I shook it off, you know, immediately. And it called my name on the intercom, like Al Harris report to the lieutenant's office. So 2 officers came and got me. And I got off my bunk. I'm wondering, what is it? You know, what is this about? And when I got into the office, she asked me questions. Do you have any issues, any anger problems? Do you have any anxiety? And I'm like, nah, why, what's going on? And she said, your mother was shot 14 times in Lawrence County, thrown on the road, left for dead. And then immediately, a light bulb went off. That was my mother, who I saw on the news. I had just saw it. I had just saw it. And they had to take me out of population and put me in a medical housing with the guys that take medicine, and I just couldn't believe it, man. I couldn't believe it, man. It rocked my world. They took me to the hospital to see my mom shackled. I was shackled up. As soon as I walked into the hospital room, it smelled like death, like something had died and been sitting for a while. And my mother tried to open her eyes, and when she did, the medicine had her so sedated that her eyes was just going all kind of crazy ways, and she had tubes down her nose and down her throat, and she was trying to talk to me like, Duran, he tried to kill me. They tried to kill me. And I'm telling her, don't talk, Mom, don't talk. Save your strength, save your voice. And I hugged her. You know, I sat there for a minute. They allowed me to. And the thing is, man, upon me being bonded out, you know, I stayed on that straight path for a while, but eventually my mom got out the hospital, and I started back using. And this was about 2007, the beginning of 2007. And with that, I got shot. I was at a hotel looking for you know, looking for someone, and got shot, and called my mom. She couldn't do much for me. She was still trying to heal herself. So she told me what to do. But 3 days, I got high before I went to the hospital. 3 days, I sat in that hotel room and got high, smoking crack, before I actually went to the hospital, you know. But after that, I went to the hospital, and really that didn't do much. And left the hospital, got high, proceeded to get high, but I had to get sick and tired. And when I did, I admitted myself in the annex. And then from the annex, I went to the Phoenix Center. And from the Phoenix Center, I went to Turning Point, which was a shelter for men. They provide you jobs, clothing, food, but you had to pay for room and board. I stayed there for a while, failed the drug test for smoking weed. My life has been a continuance of getting high, mischief, violence, armed robberies, left and right. And I committed a serious armed robbery and got caught, and sentenced to 15 years. And that was all she wrote. I didn't have a relationship with God. Not then I didn't. I didn't have a relationship with God, but someone was standing in the gap for me. Someone was interceding for me. Someone was praying for me.
Al finally came to a place where he finally realized that he couldn't keep living like this. And that's usually at rock bottom where most of us come to. So check this out.
My surrender to the Lord was February 2008. I was at Kirkland, R&E, Columbia. And I'll never forget it, man. We were all on a rock in the middle of the floor. And a guest speaker came in. He gave us these notes, these note cards, and it had a song on there. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. I'll never forget it, man. Oh my goodness. And I would ponder on those words, man, and I would just think about it like, yeah, this is what I want, because the feeling. I almost forgot I was locked up. You know, I was free. And what made it so much better is that my roommates, they were on the same page. It was 3 of us. I could have been in the room with everybody else, kicking doors, spitting on COs, fighting. But I had 2 of the most humblest roommates. And we would wake up in the morning, read, pray, do a little push-ups, work out. I said, God, you must be doing something. You must be doing something. But the word says that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Paul said, even when I want to do good, evil is present. So it was that, and no one warned me about that. I thought I was gonna have that feeling forever, you know, just feel like that. But then temptations came. Homeboys came. Well, what's up? You from Greenville? Yeah, I'm from Greenville. You my homeboy. I don't even know you, man. But yeah, we homeboys, because we from the same area, you know? Okay, all right. I guess I gotta learn how to bid now. You know what I mean? This is a different world right here. I'm at a level 3 yard, maximum security. I'm thinking I need protection, man. Yeah, man. You know, so I'm gonna roll with these guys for a minute. I'm getting in all kind of stuff. Didn't realize the only protection I needed was him.
Al, like many other Christians, thought it might be easy when you turn your life over to the Lord. Like so many other Christians, we think that, you know, as soon as you get saved, as soon as you ask Jesus Christ to come into your heart, that things are gonna be smooth sailing. But it's like a rose with thorns on it. You're gonna get pricked every now and then. You're gonna bleed. So check this out. Listen to what Al has to say.
How can I boast? How can I brag? You know what I mean? How can I look at me, when I know how dirty I can get? You know what I mean? And the fact that I'm still wrapped up in it. You know what I mean? I'm still wrapped up in it. I'm a new man. I'm created new. You know, but I'm still wrapped up in this flesh, and I'm reminded constantly constantly. I carry my inmate's ID on me. I still got penitentiary habits. My wife will tell you. You know, I still got bullet wounds where I was shot. You know, I still have urges, thoughts. You know, I'm constantly reminded of how bad and dirty I can get. But every day, I have to die daily to the flesh. In that word daily, daily. And if I miss a day or two, I feel it. I gotta get in it. I gotta get in it. And not to say, hey, I did that, or not to feel like I've completed anything, but I gotta do it to live. I gotta do it to live. I gotta do it to keep going. I gotta do it to be prosperous. I gotta do it to be successful in my walk with the Lord. I gotta do it not to stumble. You know, I gotta do it not to fall, man. You know, I gotta stay close to Him. Because if I don't, I know where I can be. That makes me humble.
My faith is relentless. Yeah. My faith is relentless. Yeah.
Welcome back to Relentless Faith. Al's story has so many twists and turns in it. You know, once God freed him from the things that he was caught up in, he changed his life and he wanted to start pouring back into other people's lives. I mean, I understand that from my point of view, being a youth pastor at my church. You see kids going down the wrong road and anything can happen. Even with kids that aren't going down the road, anything can happen. And it's a horrible thing when somebody you know, somebody that you're mentoring, loses their life. So check this out.
No Justice, No Peace was inspired by a series of events. Michael Brown, Trayvon, not only those, but someone who was personal to me, Keywan Brown. There was a young man that I was mentoring, we were mentoring. For a few months, he was locked up. He would call us from jail. He would call from jail, and we would speak to him and stuff like that. And when he got out, we did home visits. And one particular day, I went by his house, and he asked me to take him over his homeboy's house to get his shoes or something like that. But there's proper protocol, because for one, he was 17 years old. He wasn't an adult, and I didn't have permission from his mom, you know, to take him from his home to someone else. So I told him, you know, hey, I can't just do that right now, you know. And he agreed, you know. And I say a week later, I got a phone call. As soon as I answered the phone, it was his mom. And I was surprised that she would call me so late. I was about to go to work. I worked third shift at the time. And she told me she just got word that Keywan was involved in a shooting at the bowling alley in Easley. And somebody just told her that he was shot. And you know, as a minister, we don't want to believe anything like that, so we shook it off. And I prayed with her before we ended the phone call, and laid down a little longer. I say about 10 minutes. She called back, and when I answered the phone, I heard screaming. Al, you gotta get here, you gotta get here. And I'm like, what's going on, calm down. She said, it was him. It was him. I said, where are you? She said, I'm in Easley at the bowling alley. So immediately, I wasn't even thinking, you know, I just put my shoes on, clothes on, told my wife what was going down, and she was, you know, she was terrified. Like, hey, you finna go out there, you at the time, I was still on parole, you know. You're on parole, you finna go out here, and I was like, baby, hey, God, you know, God is calling. God is calling, she's calling, she needs comfort, she needs someone who she's comfortable with. Someone who she trusts, someone who can minister to her at this time of need. You know, her son has been shot, and come to find out, he died, you know, 17 years old. He hadn't even turned 18. And when I pulled up to the scene, I seen him laying on the concrete with sheets over him. The news, they filming, and you got people everywhere. The police, you see blue lights, and I'm like, wow. An actual murder scene, you know, and I know this kid. We know this kid, you know, And it touched me to my heart because it was personal. And shortly, after that, she called me up and wanted us to attend the funeral. But not only that, she asked me to preach the eulogy. So I had the opportunity to preach the eulogy, which was challenging. But during that time, the sermon after the eulogy was preached, about 50 to 100 teens were saved. Right there at the casket. They accepted Christ. And I always would ask God, why would you allow me to get so close to a person, a kid, and this happened? The life of one saved many. Wow.
He shot again, and once my friend felt that shot, he turned around and he put his hands in the earth, and he started to get down, but the officer still approached with his weapon drawn, and he fired several more shots.
No justice, no peace. Instantly, hundreds gathered, angered and saddened by what they call a complete overreaction by the officer. Now a family is demanding answers.
If there's no justice, there won't be peace. We'll let the struggle go on.
Let it go.
Let the struggle go. Watch us let the struggle go. If there's no justice, there won't be peace.
Let it go.
We'll let the struggle go on. Let the struggle go. Watch us make the struggle go.
Another sad moment in history is pure evil. When justice on the search for the people and never see you. And if you're here to follow procedure, I can't believe you. Whether law enforcement, of course, murder is still illegal. The date was August 9th. I pray, see the light, and get to dance with Jesus Christ, but they ain't have to take his life. The officer replied with gunshots while he cried, please stop, hands high, with no weapon on his side. I'm a black male who did time for armed robbery. The philosophy of shooting Michael Brown, it still shocks me. The witness say he stumbled to the ground 25 feet, clutching his stomach before his body hit the hot street, gasping for air. I ask in despair, will we ever be equal, or should I ask if you care? This a message for people who tend to blast unaware of teardrops and closed caskets. The answer is clear, no justice.
There won't be peace.
Let it go.
We'll let the struggle go on
and on.
Let the struggle go. Watch us let the struggle go. If there's no justice, there won't be peace.
Let it go.
We'll let the struggle go on.
Let it go.
Let the struggle go. Watch us make the struggle go.
How could I look in her face and tell her she worthless and not be concerned with her heart and break it on purpose? It's sad when a girl need love on the search just to become a victim of generational curses. Mama steady working, she ain't got the time, and daddy got hit for murder, so he's still doing time. It starts with a nickel, then leads to a dime. Not knowing the full potential, she just do it for the vine. They like to see her dimples when they tell her that she fine. Falling for something simple and they say that love is blind, but that right kind of love only comes from above. There's a heaven for a thug who's willing to give it up. I'm an example. Cold dark nights I scramble, made it hard to reach heaven like my flight was canceled. Never listen to the hype that men do, cause men killed Jesus on the tree and he bled for a reason. No justice.
There won't be peace.
We let it go.
We'll let the struggle go on
and on.
Let the struggle go. Watch us let the struggle go. If there's no justice, there won't be peace.
We let it go.
We'll let the struggle go on.
We let it go.
Let the struggle go. Watch us make the struggle go.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. My young boys and my young girls dying out here, man. We have an upcoming generation, and they're coming from an area where we're not looking at. That's why we, GTD, are here. We're here to speak life into the lifeless. We're here to be fathers to the fatherless. No justice, no peace.